Hi and welcome everyone to another video on my channel. My name is Denis and today I'm going to show you my team selection for Game Week 3 of Fantasy Premier League. Now, if you enjoy my content, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, but now let's get into it. Okay, now let's start this video. I'm going to show you my team selection for Game Week 3. Now, at the moment, what you see on the screen, this is my defense, how I am lining up at the moment. I'm on holiday at the moment, so maybe I'm going to do some changes. That's why I want to say to you that I'm not going to be able to make a deadline stream on Saturday, but I'm going to try to keep you posted on my social. If you want to follow me on socials, you have the links into my description. Now, let's talk a little bit about my defense. Easy decision for me with the goalkeepers. I'm just going to play Sanchez against Fulham at home, then playing Dubravka against Manchester United away. So it is a really straightforward decision. My backline at the moment is Pedro Porro, Richards, and Milenkovic. Now, again, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Game Week 2 worked for me. Obviously, I know that a lot of people are frustrated. As you can see from the screen, my rank at the moment is 4.2 million, so probably my worst start ever into the FPL season, but there are just 2 game weeks, guys. Try to not panic too much, and if you're going to look at my team, I just think that this team doesn't really need a wildcard, doesn't really need a free, so I'm not going to use any chip going into Game Week 3. And with my defense, I'm pretty happy with Pedro Porro playing against Bournemouth at home. Spurs are playing really good at the moment defensive-wise. Now, Bournemouth are not a bad side, definitely attacking-wise. I can see Bournemouth scoring against Spurs, but Pedro Porro also, he wasn't amazing for defensive contributions, let's be honest, but we know that he's on set pieces and he's a really attacking defender, so definitely I'm just going to start him. And also, I'm really happy with someone like Milenkovic, although it's not ideal that Nottingham Forest didn't keep any clean sheet in the first 2 game weeks of the season, but West Ham at home is a really good fixture. West Ham were horrible in the first 2 game weeks of the season. I didn't get any defensive contribution points this season, guys, so I feel a little bit unlucky. Maybe in Game Week 3 is going to be my time. So yeah, a really nice fixture. Maybe Milenkovic is going to get me something, maybe a clean sheet, maybe some attacking returns. That would be amazing. The spot where I'm not really that overexcited is Richards, as you can see, against Aston Villa away. Now I have the opportunity to play Richards against Aston Villa or Aaron Wan-Bissaka against Nottingham Forest away. I'm not going to play Esteve against Man United away. I know that Man United were really bad last season, but I think that they are going to score against Burnley at home. So again, I'm just playing Richards because I think that he has better chances to get a clean sheet. Now, the chances are not way better, but again, after the West Ham performances, I just think that Nottingham Forest are going to score against them. Wan-Bissaka is not going to be amazing for defensive contribution, I think, in that game, and he's also not that attacking. Now, the same could be said about Richards, but again, Crystal Palace impressed me a little bit, their defense at least, so probably I'm just going to play Richards. Hopefully he's going to get some defensive contribution points, but yeah, pretty much this is my defense. Probably this is how I'm going to line up in defense for Game Week 3. I'm not going to make any transfers now. Let's move to midfield. Now, moving to the midfield, this is an area where I'm not really over the moon excited with my picks. Now, obviously, I have someone like Mohamed Salah. I'm just not going to sell him. Obviously, my plan at the moment is to free it in Game Week 6. Why I'm going to just keep, I'm just going to give it to you straight. I'm going to keep Wirtz and Mohamed Salah probably for the next 2 for sure, because Liverpool are going to play against Burnley in Game Week 4. So although Wirtz was a really bad pick for me, now looking in hindsight at the moment, obviously he blanked in the first 2 game weeks. So again, not my best pick this season, but there's no way I'm going to sell him before Arsenal and before Burnley in Game Week 4 especially, and also because I have other fires to put. Now, as you can see from the screen, Palmer at the moment he's into my team, but the latest news is that probably he's not going to be able to play against Fulham at home. Probably is going to be fit for Game Week 4 because we're going to have an international break for him to recover. But again, if I'm going to sell a midfielder, it's going to be Palmer probably this game week, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. I'm really happy with Reinders, although he blanked in Game Week 2. I think that is going to be great value. He rised in price. The fixture is decent against Brighton away, so yeah, I'm just going to play him. I'm really happy I picked him from the beginning. Rodgers, another player who wasn't amazing in the last 2 game weeks, let's be honest. He blanked obviously in both of them. Now, again, Aston Villa failed to score in the first 2 game weeks of the season, but the fixtures are just going to be great long term, so I'm just going to keep Rodgers. I don't think that it's worth for me to just knee-jerk and sell Rodgers to someone like I don't have the money to buy someone like Gakpo, but again, someone like Gakpo Sar, Anderson. I'm just going to keep Rogers at the moment, hoping that he's going to be better. And yeah, the fixtures are just great. They're going to play also against Sunderland, against Burnley, against Crystal Palace, against Everton. So the fixtures are decent for Aston Villa, as I talked before, all this week probably. So again, if I'm going to sell someone, here is going to be Palmer, and at the moment I'm looking at someone like Sar. Now again, there are other options. I could move to Acuna, to Mbeumo. I could even buy someone like Bruno Fernandes, but I just think that I'm not going to do that again. And also my strategy is to use my free in Game Week 6, as I said before, and I don't really like the fixtures for Manchester United in Game Week 4 and Game Week 5 against Manchester City and Chelsea. So that's what's really putting me off a little bit about having a Manchester United player. Now again, the fixtures is amazing against Burnley, and I wish I had one Man United player, because at the moment, as you can see, my biggest problem probably into my team is that I don't really have a standout captaincy option. At the moment, my armband is on Mohamed Salah against Arsenal at home, and it's not ideal. Now, it's not that bad also. Mohamed Salah could score in any fixture at home also, but I much rather would prefer to have a captain like Cunha, Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes. So again, this is a problem. At the moment, I'm considering Sar, Cunha, Semenyo. These are the players probably where I'm going to go if I'm going to sell Palmer. Now the ideal situation would be we're going to get some news that Palmer is going to be fit, and I'm just going to play him and even maybe captain him against Fulham at home. But yeah, now let's move to the forward line. So now that you see my whole team, my forwards are going to be Joao Pedro and Watkins against Fulham at home and Crystal Palace at home. And as I talked with Rogers, Watkins and Rogers are going to have decent fixtures. I just don't see a reason for me to sell them. I know it is really frustrating to keep these players. Maybe they are going to fall in price also, so it is really frustrating if you're trying to build up team value, obviously. But the fixtures are just great for Watkins. Would have I preferred to have someone like Haaland? Of course. Maybe someone like Mateta, maybe someone like Wood. Yeah, of course. The fixtures for them also are decent. Now maybe not for Mateta, because he's also going to play against Aston Villa away. But still, I don't think that it's worth a transfer. Also, keeping in mind that the transfer market is going to be open until Monday. A lot of transfers are going to happen, and I want to have that flexibility to do the transfers after all the things are going to happen. Now Joao Pedro, again, a player who was horrible in Game Week 1. He scored 15 points for me in Game Week 2. He's just a lock at the moment. I'm just not going to think to sell him at the moment. If he's going to play as a number 10, I could even captain someone like Joao Pedro. I think that's not a really bad decision, to be honest with you. He could even be on penalties if Palmer is not going to be fit. Now, if we talk a little bit about my strategy, as I talked in my other videos all this week, my strategy at the moment is to use my free in Game Week 6 and have a lot of players from Manchester City. I really want to have Haaland into that in Game Week 6 and captain him. Now, if I'm going to do that, probably the best strategy to me at the moment, yeah, if Palmer is going to be fit, I'm just going to keep him and roll the transfer. If Palmer is going to be out, probably I'm leaning towards selling him at the moment, and I'm going to sell him to someone like Sar, because as I said before, Crystal Palace are going to play against Liverpool in Game Week 6, and I can't just use my free to ship them out, and the fixtures otherwise are really good for someone like Sar and for Crystal Palace in general, and I think that he's also going to be great value. Now, what I can do is to sell Palmer to Sar and also upgrade someone like Guyu from my bench to someone like Mateta, to someone like Wood. But again, that would mean for me to bench probably someone like Reinders, and I'm not really sure I want to do that. Now again, as I said so many times, I don't think that Reinders is going to score 10 points every gaming, but I think that the feature is decent, and yeah, maybe I'm just forcing it. Obviously, if you're going to upgrade Guyu, you're going to have some benching headaches in the next gamings. Now again, that could be a possibility, but also I don't really want to use both my free transfers this gaming, because as I said before, I think that it's going to be really important to have some transfers by Game Week 4, by Game Week 5, by Game Week 6 after the international break, because a lot of things are going to change and you want to have the possibility to move fast. Now, this was my team selection for Game Week 3. I'm going to keep you posted if I'm going to make any changes on my socials. You have the links into my description. Please let me know down in the comments down below, what would you do into my place, what transfers would you make, and also what is your strategy for Game Week 3, what are you going to do. Thank you so much for watching this wrong. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye. Bag duralor când mă întreabă oamenii de unde sunt le zic de va. Apoi